Hello, everybody. We're welcoming back Ross Benjamin, college basketball analyst. And yesterday, Ross had two plays that he really liked on the underdog value. We're going to start doing these videos on a daily basis, looking at where the best value in the underdog in college basketball is. And yesterday, Auburn, and he said a small shot against South Carolina. That one didn't pan out, but Ross felt very, very strongly, as I did, about LSU taking on a well overrated Kentucky team that I personally don't even think you should be in the top 20, and LSU absolutely pounded them and won outright. So Ross, good call yesterday. There's 3 ball games today that you like, so if you can just kind of break them down and give us your insight today, and let's see if we can get some more of those underdog winners.
Let's start with the Seton Hall at Villanova game, Mike, and I'll give my quick breakdown here and see what your thoughts are as well. Villanova's been red hot of late. They've won 4 in a row. Not only have they won 4 in a row, they've done so in impressive fashion, winning by 23 points per game, and that included a 31-point win over a very good nationally rated Xavier team. As a result, this line is a little bit inflated as far as I'm concerned. Look, Villanova's a better team far and away of the two in this matchup, but 15 points to me is a little bit on the heavy side against a Seton Hall team that comes in with a 13-2 record. They've won 7 in a row. Their last 2 road games, they defeated Marquette by 20, Rutgers by 29. Not exactly great teams, Mike, but, the size of those victories certainly speaks volumes. And they also own quality wins over Wichita State, Alabama, and Georgia. I'm going to have a small lean here on Seton Hall plus 15 at Villanova.
I like that, and I also had looked at that game, and I was impressed how Nova is blowing out opponents. And yeah, they're 8-0 at home. They're very, very strong on that court. But I just can't take lightly the fact that Seton Hall has played some quality opponents. And as you said, Ross, they've not only shown up, but they have won. And Angel Delgado, this guy that plays for Seton Hall, he has had 7 consecutive double-doubles. So he brings it. And, Kadeem Carrington, he's averaging 14 points a game for them. So Villanova, though, I think that is too large of a spread for me to touch. What I would do is maybe put a lean on a first half with Nova, only because of home court advantage. But there's no doubt in my mind that their coach has definitely let these guys know, look, we can't overlook this team. They are the real deal. The line, I believe, is a little inflated, kind of scares me. And if I had to do a lean on a full game, I believe I'd be with you on that with Seton Hall, Ross. That's my take on that one. And that Jalen Brunson, he's 11 for 23 from three-point land in the last 3 contests for Villanova. So they're really starting to put some things together, and I think Villanova might be there in the very end in the Final Four. And again, that's just my opinion.
All right, let's take a look at the Evansville and Wichita State game, Mike. And again, I'll give my quick thoughts here, and always interested in what you have to say on this matchup. Evansville returns all 5 starters from a very good team from a season ago. And speaking of very good, they're 13-2 to start this season. Very good offensive club, averaging 81 points per game, shooting an unbelievable 52.4% from the field on the season. Wichita State has shown signs of coming alive, Mike, in the last 2 games against weaker opponents from the Missouri Valley, but they're off to a disappointing 8-5 start. A lot of people, including myself, thought this may be a legitimate top 10 team going into the season based on their returning players and how well they did the last 2 seasons, not only just a season ago, but going back 2 years. But that hasn't been the case. I'm not saying that they won't eventually be a top 20 team, but right now, laying 10 points against a quality team like Evansville, I don't think is a good bet. I'm going to take the Evansville Aces plus the 10 over Wichita State tonight.
Ross, I like that also, because Wichita State, their nickname is Shockers, and the only shocker for me this year is the fact that they're 8-5, had some very quality returning team members, and I also thought they were definitely, legitimately a top 10 team. Now, will they start to put some things together? I believe so, but because of what you pointed to, and you nailed it on the head, Evansville returning the starters, all right, this is a tournament tournament team. They're 13-2. They're not afraid to take on bigger opponents. So I think this line is absolutely an underdog value as well. I'm probably even going to put a unit or two on it, taking Evansville. Ballantyne, this kid's shooting 49% from the field, and they're really just a consistent team. And, let's not forget, any team coming from Indiana, all right, there's quality there. And that's why I've always, in the last 5 or 6 years, I really watch Evansville closely. They've put together some winning seasons as far as against the spread that really bank me some money. So I like this also, and I have to say I'm going to drop probably 1 or 2 units on it because of the returning starters, and I just think this is a great spot. So let's break down another one.
Well, I think you'll be happy with the return on this game tonight. And again, just to quickly touch upon Evansville, folks, anytime you shoot the ball as well as they do and score like they do, and you're getting 10 points, you got a puncher's chance, as they would say in sports betting, to get inside the number. The final game, Mike, Duke.
Hey, wait,
number
Ross, I want to cut you off real quick before we go to that final game. Let's not also forget here, Evansville got romped last year by like 19. They lost to Wichita State. So that's in their memories too, and those same starters are there. I was just thinking about that. That gives me even more fuel to say, you know what, I got to put a couple units on this. I like it.
Good point. Very good point. Revenge is always a factor, especially as Mike just alluded to, when you got an experienced team like Evansville, 5 returning starters. That's certainly in their memory bank. Duke, number 14 in the country, travels to Wake Forest tonight. Travels probably about a 25-mile bus ride. This is a Wake team that went 9-4. That's gone 9-4, I should say, this season. They do have quality wins, Mike.
Yeah.
They won at LSU, and as we witnessed last night with LSU against Kentucky, you can't take that win lightly. No. They also knocked off UCLA and Indiana, 2 pretty good teams, and they gave Louisville all they could handle in their previous game, losing by 8 at Freedom Hall in Louisville, easily covering as a 15-point dog. Look, on paper, and when it's all said and done, Duke is unequivocally the better of these 2 teams by a long shot. But we're not talking about the big picture. We're talking about one game. We're talking about an 8-point spread. This is an 8-point dog at home, and Duke's only going to be playing in their second true road game. I like Wake Forest to keep this one closer than a lot of people would think. I'm going to take the points here with the Demon Deacons plus 8 over Duke.
You would think that we either emailed each other last night or just read each other's minds, but I love this. This is good stuff because you were mentioning everything with Wake Forest, the quality opponents. They're putting things together, but there's one thing that I love about Wake Forest, and I think right now it's without a doubt the fuel to the fire that's happening, and it's Danny Manning, the coach. I loved him as a player, and when he stepped in there, all right, he literally brings that mentality of just grind. He brings it to the locker room, and he brings it on the sidelines. We are experiencing an up-and-coming coach in college basketball that will have an impact. He was very well coached as a player, very well respected as a player, so I think that is one of the biggest factors. And also, they're just that home court advantage for them, I think, is going to bode well tonight. I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm not putting out there, I might even, maybe a little lean, if Wake Forest maybe walks away with a win here. I think Duke is the better team, all right? And obviously, this freshman, Brandon Ingram, this kid's amazing. 25-9, he's the real deal. And then you got Grayson Allen, who is a steady, consistent, solid ball player for Coach K. But I like the fact that Bryant Crawford, this kid's 15 from 30, all right, from three-point land in the last 4 contests, all right, so their perimeter game is good. They're really building that game under the boards, Ross. And Danny Manning, that factor alone tonight, I'm definitely taking a play with the points, but I might even put a small one on the money line just for the fact I think an upset could be in the making.
Well, it wouldn't shock me at all, Mike. We'll take the points as an additional bonus, but
sure.
Yeah, I mean, the sign of a good underdog play is when you really think a team has a realistic chance of winning the game outright. And then you take the points as an additional bonus. That seems to be the case here with me and you. And as you alluded to with Danny Manning, they say teams take on the personality of their coach.
Yep.
And it's very true when it comes to the Wake Forest Demon Deacons over the past 2 seasons.
Well, good stuff. Ross, we always enjoy having you on board with us, and we look forward to you coming back again real soon. Let's knock these down tonight, and let's keep profiting, and let's have one hell of a 2016.